Get ready for the action, because we are diving straight into the heavyweight drama. Dustin Poirier is laying down the truth about Khamzat Chimaev, revealing that the loss at UFC 328 might have seriously impacted his intimidation factor. We break down exactly what Poirier said about how this defeat has changed the dynamic for Boers heading into his next challenge. You won't want to miss this analysis of the fallout from the middleweight title fight.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we are celebrating the legend status being cemented for Sean Strickland. Jorge Masvidal is calling Sean Strickland an all-time great, arguing that his performances have elevated him to legendary status in the UFC. We explore the career highlights that Masvidal points to, detailing how Strickland has separated himself from the pack with his fight style and his incredible finishing rate. Find out why many are now calling him a Hall of Famer. Now, we pivot to the frustration brewing in the MMA world as Zabit Magomedsharipov explains why he decided to hang up his gloves and pursue an early retirement. Zabit Magomedsharipov details the numerous failed bookings and the frustrating delays from the UFC that led to his decision to step away from the sport. Hear his candid reasons about the repeated postponements and the feeling of being stalled in his career. And finally, we look at the betting odds shaping up for the biggest fight in MMA history, the potential rematch between Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev. Dave Mason breaks down the opening odds, showing Strickland as a favorite against Chimaev, and discusses the implications if Chimaev stays at middleweight. Stay with us to see what the UFC's actual plans are for the 185-pound title and what this means for Nassourdine Imavov. Don't go anywhere. Khamzat Chimaev may have suffered a significant blow to his intimidation factor following his loss at UFC 328, according to Dustin Poirier. Chimaev suffered his first professional MMA loss this past Saturday, dropping the UFC middleweight championship in the main event against Sean Strickland. The bout was described as a dogfight, with Strickland securing the victory via split decision and claiming his second reign as the 185-pound king. During the post-fight show for UFC 328 on Paramount+, Poirier directly addressed the impact of the loss on Chimaev's presence. The next fight, whoever he gets matched up with, it's going to be tough for him to intimidate because his aura took a hit this week, Poirier stated, adding that the back-and-forth action suggested the loss was substantial. Prior to the Strickland fight, Khamzat Chimaev had demonstrated competitive performances, including a war against Gilbert Burns and a scrap with Kamaru Usman. However, he had previously held a reputation for dominating his opponents, evidenced by nearly 22 minutes of control time in his middleweight title win over Dricus du Plessis in August 2025. Speculation is mounting regarding whether the weight cut influenced Chimaev's strategy, with some suggesting he favored standing exchanges over takedowns against Strickland. Despite concerns about weight management, Chimaev appears keen on a title rematch, contradicting statements made by UFC CEO Dana White, who had previously indicated Chimaev was moving up to light heavyweight. The assessment of Chimaev's diminished aura following UFC 328 has sparked considerable debate among MMA observers. Jorge Masvidal has emphatically praised Sean Strickland, declaring him an all-time great and suggesting Strickland has earned his place in the UFC Hall of Fame following his victory over Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 328. Strickland secured the middleweight championship via a split decision upset, a feat Masvidal had previously backed. Masvidal argued that Strickland's career trajectory has been remarkable, noting his evolution from fighting at 170 pounds to demonstrating a distinct fighting style, a strong finishing rate, and success against various levels of opponents. Masvidal asserted that Strickland has separated himself from the competition by his approach, having defeated both emerging and established fighters. This achievement places Strickland among an elite group of fighters who have captured UFC gold multiple times, alongside names like Georges St-Pierre, John Jones, and BJ Penn. The focus now shifts to Strickland's future, as he seeks a title defense against Nassourdine Imavov, while Chimaev is pursuing a rematch. This situation is complicated by conflicting reports regarding Chimaev's potential weight class changes. The debate continues over whether Strickland has cemented his legacy as a Hall of Famer or if further title success is required. Zabit Magomedsharipov has publicly attributed his abrupt retirement from the UFC to failed booking opportunities, specifically citing issues with Yair Rodriguez and a perceived lack of advancement toward championship contention. Magomedsharipov, a former top featherweight contender with an 18-1 MMA record, last competed in November 2019. In an interview with ACBJJ, he detailed the frustration stemming from multiple postponements and canceled fights with Rodriguez. Magomedsharipov explained that despite extensive preparation, including weight cuts and training camps, fights were repeatedly delayed due to injuries or scheduling issues, leading to exhaustion. He noted a specific agreement regarding a title fight if Rodriguez withdrew a third time, which was not honored. Furthermore, he suggested that the UFC's decision not to push him toward a championship title was influenced by the existing roster of Russian champions at the time, such as Khabib Nurmagomedov and Petr Yan. Magomedsharipov has since signed with the Russian Grappling League ACBJJ, a division of ACA, reinforcing the theme of seeking new opportunities in his career. Sean Strickland, the newly crowned UFC middleweight champion, is facing a significant challenge as he opens as the betting underdog for a potential rematch against former champion Khamzat Chimaev. Strickland secured his second title win at UFC 328 by defeating Chimaev via split decision, a controversial but decisive victory. Following the fight, initial speculation suggested Chimaev would move up to light channel weight for his next bout. However, reports indicate Chimaev is now prioritizing a rematch with Strickland to reclaim the middleweight crown. Betting odds reflect this shift, with Dave Mason of BetOnline reporting Strickland as a -205 favorite and Chimaev as a +175 underdog for a potential second encounter. The dynamics of the potential rematch are complex. While Chimaev remains the favorite, the odds have significantly decreased from the initial fight, suggesting a change in the UFC's strategy regarding the title. If Chimaev stays at middleweight for the rematch, it would effectively sideline top contender Nassourdine Imavov, who is positioned to challenge Strickland after a previous loss. This situation raises questions about the UFC's booking philosophy, as granting an immediate rematch to a fighter who has never successfully defended a title would break tradition, though the potential for a massive fight is undeniable. With Chimaev publicly seeking the rematch, the UFC's plans for the middleweight title are expected to become clearer soon.